Hello, creepy crawlies, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Ice Cream Queens. And we have a very interesting show. We have our friendly, awesome guest that you're going to enjoy. I almost called him lovely, but maybe he is lovely. But let's go ahead and bring in my co-host. I think we have Kat and Lauren this evening.
Hey,
He's
how are
lovely.
you, lady?
Lovely. Good.
Yeah,
How are you
Lovely,
doing?
lovely guest.
Lovely guest.
Good. How are you?
Tripping over my tongue, obviously. Still recovering. Yeah. Okay. I think everybody in the city of Memphis is either fighting off the flu, has had the flu. I know I'm still recovering from it. It sounds like Lauren, you're fighting it. Kat, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm holding up okay, knock on wood. Yeah, I know.
good.
Everybody's had like COVID around too. Again.
Oh, I thought we were
going
done
around
with that.
time 2, I think. I don't know.
Round
Yeah.
2, fight.
Yeah.
It's more like round
I know.
13 at this point. I don't even.
It really is. You're not lying.
Well, and honestly, in certain environments that you work in, you're exposed to things like that a whole lot more. I don't want to tell you how many times I've had a cotton swab shoved up into my brain. It's
Oh.
just, I'm like, oh gosh, no.
At
I won't
least
even
they
do that
don't.
anymore.
Yeah, they don't do it as bad as when they first started testing. When they first started testing, man, that thing was back at. Now they're just like, okay,
Yeah.
you're done.
I didn't even let him do that. I think the girl went for the swab and she was really trying. I just grabbed her wrist and I was like, nope, you're done. And I already know I have it. So you don't have to go but it's not a good swab unless I tickle your brain. I'm like, nope.
We're not going to tickle my brain.
The next day, it was what it was. So yeah, you don't have to go that far up your brain to find out if you have COVID.
No, I had to get one for the flu that I had a couple not last week, but the week before, and I promise it was like my eyes were watering. It was all the way up in my nose. I'm like going,
No.
you hate me.
No, yeah, there's no need for all that.
Ow.
Hey, so I don't really have a whole lot of pre-show chatter, but I do want to mention 2 events. The first one is MCFC, which is one of the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. And this is the Piranha Room. It's a goth dance party. And I know it says that we are the DJ/host. I know that we've discussed that we are not DJs. And Kat, are you going to be able to join us on that one?
I will not. I will be in Nashville seeing the Dropkick Murphys that night at the Ryman.
Lucky you.
I got tickets to that.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay. So I guess it's just you and I, Lauren?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
We can
And we'll
handle
DJ.
it.
I'll catch you on the
DJ.
next one. Yeah.
DJing.
You can do it. You can DJ.
No.
Are they letting y'all DJ? Are y'all getting to DJ?
I think
We
it's
don't
pretty much
know.
like, here's a playlist. Pause it and be like, hey guys, in between some songs. That's about all I got.
That's kind of, I think, what happened with the whole the burlesque event that we went to is just like, we're gonna MC. We don't know when, we don't know how. All right, we're here.
We're doing
Here's
it.
your script. We're gonna throw that away and make up our own.
Yeah,
We
that
can.
happened too.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't know if y'all were spinning the tunes that night. If they just let y'all just go ahead and have, you don't have to, not the MCing, but just the mixing the music up.
I am hoping that there is a playlist, and all we're gonna do is go play, keep it going, keep it going.
Yeah. I think that's a bit
that's
more
missing
along
all the
line.
fun. That's when you know all the goth tunes to play. I don't know. That would be a good time, actually.
Yeah, we might be mixing up the playlist and adding our own.
This one sucks. Skip.
I know. We're not going to play this one. And then the other event is on December the 10th, and that is the Yule Masquerade, which is going to be hosted by our friends at the Broom Closet, and it's going to be at Black Lodge. And there's an awesome band playing. Just so you know. Okay.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It looks like a band of people we might know.
Very possible. But yeah, the Crows will be there. We're doing the opening set, and then there's some belly dancers that are going to be there. There is a Krampus, a really, really good I'm not sure if he's on stilts, but I'm thinking he might be.
Oh,
Friend of our,
wow.
yeah, we're
That'll be neat.
Victorian Saint Nick. So yeah, it's going to be so be looking, because I'm probably going to be calling on y'all, going, hey, we might need some stuff. Y'all come help.
Come help.
Come help.
Fair.
Must play Echo the. Yes,
Agreed.
I
Funny
agree.
Man.
Agreed.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all might be DJing this event.
I'm sorry.
so-
What about what?
For pre-show chatter, I know that you were wanting to talk about the Hellraiser, the new Hellraiser movie with someone. I finally sat down and watched it. Have you seen it all the way through yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Twice.
Kat, have you seen it? Twice.
I have not seen it. No.
I liked it. I really, really liked it. I thought it was very interesting the way that the Cenobites were there, and they're very like, that is obviously this character, but there's little tweaks and stuff that's different, and I'm just like, yes, yeah, and I got really excited for it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I loved about it. I loved that the redesign on the characters, the kind of got them out of that whole leather S&M, BDSM look. Yeah, it's like we all like that, but then again, there's an elegance of the redesign and the fact that they did finally go to a character that was more along the lines of, I think, what was created in Clive Barker's original vision in the books, with the female character, with a female Pinhead, which also kind of leans into, if you're still reading the comic, Kirsty Cotton is now the Hell Priest, or at least where I'm at. She's the Hell Priestess, and she has kind of become the new Pinhead, and Pinhead has been relieved of duty. So yeah, I'm loving that. What I did not like about it is the original series. They spent all of this time creating this beautiful, I guess you'd say it was beautiful hellscape. You didn't really get that so much. You got a couple of corridors, and I was kind of missing that aspect of it. I loved the story was great. I loved everything about it, but I would have loved to have seen a bit more of the hellscape. And then anytime they're shooting outdoors, I feel like that can be a budgeting issue. So there was that whole segment that they were outside.
Mm-hmm. I loved the segment outside. That was one of my favorites, where they're in the car and they're trying to get away, and like the stairs keep trying to appear wherever they had stopped, and it keeps like opening the walls and it's following them. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And that made me very happy. I've
loved the house, and the way that the house kind of moved and became okay, I'll stop there.
No, it reminded me of
spoiler alerting now.
Yes,
it reminded me of 13 Ghosts.
Spoiler
with the
alert.
house.
It did, very much so. It had that vibe. I love 13 Ghosts. I really do wish that they would go back and do a origin story version of that, so we could see the 13 Ghosts. Yes. Yes. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend seeing the new Hellraiser. I think it's beautifully done. I think it's a good start to kick us into a new series, and I hope that they maintain the design and the drive, and they kind of keep it. Because the first Hellraiser in the series originally was a great movie, and then they just kind of went after that. So, but I mean, I love the characters, but yeah, I want to see this one. And I want to see more, and I just want to see it maintain that level and just continue to escalate.
Fair. I liked about all the way up to about 3 or 4 on the original Hellraisers, and then for me, they started going downhill. The only thing I did not like about this new one is, to me, the beginning was a little bit slow, which I guess you kind of expect. They have to build the background and who is this guy and all of that with the mansion and the house. It did take me a couple times to like sit down and restart it. Like, okay, hang on, I'm gonna get through it. Let's see here. Eli Cash says declined after 4 from what I've gotten.
Yes. Go through like if I'm assuming that you're saying that you watched the first 4 and they kind of started to decline after that. So. No, I agree. So we do have an awesome guest with us this evening, and we would like to go ahead and bring our guest in.
Hello, Queens.
Hey.
Hello, how are you? So
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. This is Chef Tony, and Chef Tony is going to be joining us this evening to talk about one of our favorite. What are you eating?
Creme brulee.
Okay.
Show it.
Yeah,
Show it.
show it. Show it.
Yeah, let's see
I
it.
already stabbed it.
But one of our favorite topics, and we're going to talk about eating and food and all of the gross stuff that goes alongside food and horror. So Tony, please give us a quick overview of who you are and what you do and how you came to be
I'm
here.
I'm the head chef of, and sorry, I should say executive chef and owner of Bite Club. We've been in business for about 8 years now. I run the entire business myself. I do have some help when needed. We do small catering jobs, but we basically started with making all natural and preservative free beef jerky. From there, we grew to rubs and barbecue sauces, hot sauces. We make organic pet treats and baking extracts. So, and we're constantly expanding. So whatever catches my eye, I'm like, I could do that.
You just said one of my favorite words ever, beef jerky.
Which, oh,
Yeah.
if you've never been, go check out my website. I have like 13 flavors. I even have vegan jerky. So,
Ooh.
Is it the
Oh.
mushroom kind?
no, I use
Oh.
a tofu base.
Interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
It's a lot of my vegan fans absolutely love it. They've tried a lot of other brands and they're like, there's no comparison.
All right. Well, maybe getting an order from me then, beef jerky. Husband, if you're watching this, just jot that down on the to-do list.
Okay, so I have to ask, what is the first rule of Bite Club?
The first rule of Bite Club is you talk about Bite Club.
Hell yeah!
There.
Yeah. You talk. You spread the word.
It's not with your mouth full.
Unless
I'm
you're
not-
eating beef jerky, and then you can
Exactly.
do
Yeah,
that.
then it's just,
Jerky.
you know,
It's when you get that whole like.
yeah.
That's the best compliment I could ever get right there.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to ask because obviously, you know, the whole play on Fight Club. Were you a Fight Club fan? Do you like the movie?
No, I mean, I do enjoy the movie and the book itself. The name did come from it, but when we first started, we started as kind of like an underground dinner club. So,
Oh.
and it got just too popular to where we were getting shut down before we even started up. And it was basically like, hey guys, you need to stop talking about this. And they're like, oh, it's like Fight Club. And I'm like, Fight Club. So once we disbanded from there, I went solo and here I am.
I didn't even register. I've been hearing the name Bite Club this whole time. Fight Club didn't even pop in my head. I'm like, oh, it's vampires.
No.
Vampires. Cool.
It's funny story. So I went to go register Bite Club on my website, and it's taken by an Icelandic vampire S&M club. So-
Yay.
Okay, I'm not the only one who thought.
I'm-
I did. I thought of
Look
Fight
that
Club
up.
when I saw it. Yeah.
I did too, but now I want to go to Iceland. Is that
I'm
bad?
going to the
To go
club too. Like,
exploring to the.
I'm very curious now.
Bite
Yeah.
Club should go cater Bite Club. Just saying.
I would love to.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that would be.
Call me up. I would love to do it. I will do a themed catering menu for you guys
Oh my
all
God.
day long.
A
Oh,
vampire.
You gotta have like
themed-
ginger
Vampire
dominatrix.
S&M club.
Oh, yeah.
In Iceland. Is that
Yep,
what?
a vampire S&M club. So they own the Bite Club name. So
I love it so much. I love this so much. Okay,
Oh no.
I don't know why. Sorry. All right. So
We have a topic.
we do.
It's not
a
bondage.
vampire- No, it's not. What's the number one item on the menu? Oh, awesome. Okay, which one?
There we go.
His
Uh,
menu or
my menu or the vampire S&M club.
some-
That's the spankings.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
My bestseller is my teriyaki beef jerky, by far. I released a dill pickle hot sauce about 2 years ago. It is quickly becoming my bestseller.
Ooh,
Wow,
okay.
that sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and everything I do is made to order. Like I don't pre-make anything. So when you place the order, I go ahead and make it. I have a butcher who I get meat deliveries from 3 times a week, and I go ahead and just start making it right when you order it. So there's nothing ever sitting out.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's awesome. We do have a audience participation question.
Okay.
Hey, hey. All
Somewhere?
right. Yeah. All right.
What is the weirdest thing someone has ever talked you into eating? And Tony, we're asking you this first, and then it goes out to our watchers to comment.
Okay, so when I was a kid, my grandfather, who was a chef, he had a friend who was just independently wealthy, lived out in Wisconsin, had like 300 acres or something like that. He would go on safaris all over the world. And once a month, my grandfather would get a box of just meat, random meat. And it was just whatever he decided to send over. So I'm, 8, 9 years old. I'm eating alligator. I'm eating kangaroo. I'm eating,
Nice.
all this stuff. The weirdest thing, though, is my grandfather made it one time, and there were these little chickens. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's chicken. Just eat it. So I ate it, and I'm like, yeah, it was pretty good. He's like, it wasn't chicken. It was baby squab, and baby squab is pigeon.
Yep.
So, and I'm like, I hope to God
Oh.
you didn't get like the pigeons that fly around in Chicago.
You said baby chickens, and I was like, oh,
yes.
it's pigeon.
Oh no. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Raccoon.
I've actually eaten raccoon jerky.
So there was a
Nice.
comment. Can we pop it back up? And it was from Toy Robot Visual
like eating a
Arts, and
bear.
it says raccoon, and it did not go well. I'm
Well,
curious.
I mean, did you scoop it up off the side of the road and eat it? Like, yeah, that's not going to go well.
No, but honestly, there's a good possibility that could have been the case. Probably not by him, but Joey the Birdie
Oh, my.
says toss up between fermented duck eggs and haggis.
Fermented duck eggs could go either way. They could either be prepared and they're fantastic, or they could be prepared and they're absolutely gut-wrenching horrific. So it just a true master chef could do it really good, but that's far and few.
Yeah, I was there for that occasion. We were trying to make like homemade ramen, and we went to the international market. We bought all the stuff. And we were like, oh, duck eggs, that would be great. And we didn't know that you were supposed to do anything with them.
Mhm.
We just thought it was like eggs, and so we tried to, prepare them how we would for ramen, with them slightly hard boiled and all of that. And actually, I think they came hard boiled, like it said on the box. And we we're like, oh, that's perfect. And we cracked them, and we're just like, I think these have gone off. I think these are expired. Didn't know they were supposed to do more to it. I'm gonna research that more next time before I just blindly buy something thinking it's gonna work.
Yeah. So always best, especially at the international market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kat. So, quick question: can you tell everybody how they can participate on our show?
Well,
That's
if
watching.
you would like to participate with us tonight, you can comment and follow along on Spotify and Apple Music maybe, and YouTube, Facebook, and also there will be links on our Instagram pages as well. So if you want to drop a comment to us or a question, feel free.
All right. So, okay. Now, since we are Eli, what?
Eli has
Go back.
commented something. What? Pizza on the curb. It only got weird when I've gotten to a street fight with a rat that isn't Splinter.
Yay, we love Eli so much. We love him so much.
So I didn't get Kat's answer for the food of the weirdest food.
Oh man, I've eaten so many gross and strange things, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, I was a kid and I was on an Indian reservation, and I remember like they had this carving station, and I'm like the little girl with the plate, and I don't know if it was bear or what it was that they were carving. I was under the assumption it was bear at the time I was eating it, but it was something that you don't normally eat, and it's got the little like red heat lamp on it, and I was just like, yeah, I want that. So I couldn't honestly tell you what it was, but I think it was something along the lines in that family. But I don't know. I guess it's just something you don't normally eat, or it's presented to eat. We did, I will say, I'm trying to think, I've had frog legs before, but that's more of
so
like a
good.
Southern thing. And they taste like chicken. It's not really that strange at all. But I will
That's
tell
gross.
you, at one point I missed out. You said it's gross.
It's gross.
At one point we did
Tastes
have
like chicken. Eat chicken.
we had a restaurant here not too far from where I'm at actually, and at one time I think it was called like Dundee's or something like that, and they used to bring in wild game from what I understand, and like you could eat all kinds of, which I'm not I'm not a fan of like, killing wild game and that type of thing but I mean, if they're using it as food, a little different, I guess. But, at the same time, it's a lot of controversy right there. But yeah, if it were there, I would have probably eaten something if it were cooked and prepared by a chef. So
My answer is grits.
what?
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 All right.
That's normal.
I was half raised up north, Wisconsin. On the move down here, we stopped at some diner, got breakfast. Now, I'd never had grits before. The lady put a bowl in front of me, and I was like, what is this? I am a child now, please. Just remember this.
Mhm.
What is this? Oh, it's mashed potatoes. You'll love it.
It's not mashed potatoes.
Not mashed potatoes, and I cannot, to this day. The only grits I can stand is if it's Cajun. There's some like shrimp kind of
I
stuff
was
going
gonna
on
say
with
shrimp
it.
and grits.
Yeah, shrimp
Yeah.
and
I
grits.
can do that, but grits just in general,
Grits for breakfast or no for you.
no.
Okay.
It's like eating liquid cement. Like it's
Thank
gonna weigh you
you.
down. You're gonna go into a coma for 3/4 of the day.
No.
It's nah. Keep
I
in
like
mind,
potatoes.
Put some
I'm a Chicago
cheese in
boy, so
there.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I'm a Southern girl. I grew up
Yeah.
in this neck of the woods and spent a lot of time in New Orleans. So yes, grits is what the fuck? I mean, what the crap is it? I knew it's always me. It's always me. I would say okay. So the weirdest thing that I have ever eaten would be pig brains.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd try it. I'd try anything.
Nope. No.
How was it?
It
How
was nasty. I was young, so I don't remember that much about it. But my mother used to make pig brains and scrambled eggs, and it was something that she grew up eating. And I'm like, what was your mom feeding you? This is nasty. There are just some things that are not meant to be eaten, and pig brains is one of them. I'm sorry.
so you weren't having a lot of sleepovers as a kid, were you?
Mm-mm. Not really. Not really. No, actually, even in this, it really wasn't that weird here. I mean, I knew other people who ate it. Like everybody in our neighborhood knew about it and would eat it. And I was like, ew, that's nasty. I just
think
couldn't
I've
get past
seen
what
the
it was.
Feet. I think I've seen the feet in grocery
Oh, the
stores.
feet.
I
Oh,
swear I've
Feet, yeah.
seen like strange things like that every
Yeah.
once in a while. Going
Not
to
too
a
bad.
grocery store that I don't normally go to, I'll be like, oh, what is that? That's not something that I
So-
usually cook. But
so of course Magda can't. She can't be here, but she did give us a list of questions, and she's got some awesome questions that she has kind of set aside for Chef Tony. The first one is she was wanting to know what is the most bizarre dish that you have ever consumed
Um,
other than squab.
okay, so I have a fear of snakes. I'm not a big snake fan, and I actually ate rattlesnake one time, barbecued rattlesnake. It was literally just the skin was peeled off it. It was on a spigot, and they were just slicing pieces off, and that took a lot for me to get over. But I was like, if I'm gonna get over this fear, this is a good place. Like I might as well eat the soul of my enemy,
Yeah.
to win over the fear. So it might not be weird to a lot of people, but for me that was weird. That was really stepping outside of my comfort zone.
But did you
how was
like
the
it?
texture? Yeah, like how did it taste in the texture?
It tasted like if you overcooked, not tasted. The texture was like if you overcooked chicken for a little bit too long on the grill. Like it had that tough texture. It was a little bit dried out. It had a little bit of an oily feel to it, but it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. So if I'd eat it again.
Her
Nice.
next question is there anything is there a food that you are unwilling to try?
Sauerkraut.
What?
Sauerkraut. I ate it once as a kid. I violently vomited all over the
Oh.
kitchen table after eating it. Ever since then, I've never eaten it.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
I refuse to eat it. Like even as an adult, and your taste buds change every 7 years. Like there was stuff I hated as a kid. I absolutely love now. Sauerkraut is definitely off the table. No, I get a whiff of it.
No.
I walk into a German restaurant and I'm like, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough.
Or no Reuben sandwiches or
No,
oh,
no. No, I can't do Rubens. And here's the funny thing about that. I love cabbage. Love it. I love pickles. Love it. You put those two together. I love kimchi. You heat it up. I'm done. I can't do it. Can't do
Never
it.
had kimchi.
Kimchi is it's done right. It is absolutely delicious.
I want to one day try it. I'm afraid because I've heard it has to be done right, and so I'm afraid it's going to be another one of those like egg catastrophes.
Duck
Where
eggs.
I didn't do it right, and
The-
so I want to go to a nice restaurant, like a good place to get it and try it there.
Yeah,
So-
with kimchi, it's real easy to where if you mess it up, you can make yourself really sick because it can go bad really fast and really, really bad. Like
Noted.
you'll smell it before you consume it, but yeah, it could happen. So definitely go to someone who knows how to make it. It's actually very easy, but it's very easy to like mess it up down the road. So, but definitely give it a try. It's wonderful.
Oh,
So
will do.
Toy Robot had a question, and is there a way that you would cook rattlesnake to make the texture better?
I would probably smoke it first. Let the smoke do its work. Get in there, and then probably just finish it on a cold side of the grill. Just not just over indirect heat. That would probably keep the moisture up, and that would probably make the texture a lot better than just sticking a steak through it and cooking it over an open flame.
And I'm just sitting here like Southern as heck, like fry it.
That could be good too. That might make it nice and
Like
you can
gator,
fry-
fried gator.
Yeah. Oh, I love gator. Gator's one of my favorite foods out there. But I mean, you could deep fry a garden hose, and someone's gonna put ranch on it and eat it. So,
yeah, that's true.
so
That's true.
that's frying is almost like a cop out to like, oh, this is kind of bad chicken. Oh, just toss it in the deep fryer. It'll kill everything on it. And it's true, it will, but it yeah.
So one of the things that was very interesting is prior to getting into culinary arts, you actually worked in film.
Mhm.
And some of the things that we were wanting to kind of talk about was in horror movies, there's a whole lot of use of food.
Oh yeah.
Is there any, okay, first of all, are there any props that you've ever, like food related props that you've ever created, and or what has been your experience with film and food?
So the film I did a lot of government work, so like libraries, museums, stuff like that. It was an untapped market. I got in there. I was cleaning up left and right. So I really didn't have time to go out and make my own films. But when I was in college, I actually did make a horror prop by accident. I was making homemade gummy bears one day, and I messed it up, and I left the spatula on the wax paper, and I peeled it up, and it had the like perfect texture for like a deep scar. And
Ooh.
so like I was like, okay, I could do this again. I made it again and kind of like applied it to my face, and it looked really, really good. And then what's cool is you could just like peel it off and eat it. So
Oh, that'd be great for zombie film.
I know.
exactly. But I mean, if you're talking like full mainstream movies, food has always been used. George Romero did it in Dawn of the Dead. Like they had to make it on the cheap. I think their budget was only like $500,000 to make that film. So when the zombies were actually eating people, they were eating whatever lunch was served that day. So it was like meatball subs covered in chocolate syrup. Because it was shot in black and white, chocolate syrup looks exactly like blood. And they would just cover it. And they had a butcher that was giving them day old pork. So they had like ham hocks that they would use, and they would substitute for the people's legs and stuff like that. And they would just dive in and eat chocolate covered ham, which is not good.
That sounds awful.
It is.
That sounds like something Buddy the Elf would eat.
Oh yeah. And I
you've
have-
actually made
I have
spaghetti.
made it. Yeah.
Yes, he's made the Buddy the Elf spaghetti. Was
Yep.
it nasty?
It was not that bad. I actually would do it again. I was actually going to do it for a yearly thing. It kind of just fell off the radar though.
So, are there any food items or food recipes that you've seen in movies that you're like, I want to recreate that? Do you like to recreate what you see in film, or?
Oh yeah. During the early pandemic, because business was slow, the catering jobs fell off. I was doing videos from home, and I wasn't doing movie foods because everyone was doing that. I was doing cartoon foods. So my biggest one was I did the American Dad episode where he opens a restaurant and he goes through all the foods he used to eat, and I made a Captain Crunch tempura, and
Ooh.
what was the other one? It was so long ago. I'm sorry, I can't remember it. But and then the other one I did was, and my very first one was in an episode of Family Guy. Peter Griffin sits in his car and makes a panini sausage, Reese's peanut butter cup, Cadbury egg panini. It was, so I recreated it exactly how he made it, and I bought it. All the ingredients I bought from a corner grocery store, like gas station thing. It was the grossest thing I've ever eaten in my life. It was like,
I'm sure
It sounds nasty.
Reese's with the Cadbury egg is how it.
it was just basic white bread, cheap sausage links. I mean, like they were 99 cents for like 15 of them. They were absolutely horrible. Reese's peanut butter cups, and then I actually broke a Cadbury egg over it, pressed it, and then cooked it in a panini press. It was, the smell was nasty. I couldn't get that out of my kitchen for like 3 days.
Oh
my
God.
Did you do any off topic of horror, but did you do any like anime, Studio Ghibli, any of those kind of food? Because every time I watch anything from that, I'm just sitting there like, the food.
I did. I loved watching the first season of Food Wars, and I had a goal of going through and writing down what they were making, and I wanted to recreate everything. It just got way too fast and furious for me to keep up with it, and then business started opening it up, so I had to stop the at-home shoots to go back to doing the catering stuff. But I have made the Ninja Turtle pizza goiza before, though. I recreated that from the Ninja Turtle cartoon.
I actually just watched that episode recently.
The Nickelodeon animated.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I love them. I have them tattooed on my arm. Yeah.
Okay, so
like
random
too.
favorite Ninja Turtle.
It depends. I have right now. It's Raphael. Just because
He's
I
so
find
angry.
angry, but he's got a great heart. And
Yes,
I find with dealing with the general public these days, I'm more Raphael than, But through my life, I could actually map out how I embodied each Ninja Turtle, like growing up and stuff like that. So they mean the world to me. Like they got me in the martial arts as a kid. They taught me right from wrong. Like the Ninja Turtles were like my lifeblood as a kid.
Cowabunga.
Yeah. Cowabunga.
Speaking of cartoons and animation and food, so thank you, Joey. I like Donatella too.
Donnie rocks.
I love Donnie. One of my favorite animes is Black Butler, and they have these really long, drawn out sequences where he is preparing food and he's presenting it and setting it out, and it's just amazing. And those are the ones that I'm like, I want to recreate that. That looks awesome.
Mhm.
That looks. So you were referencing the George Romero Dawn of the Dead, where they were eating
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead. So they did something very similar with Walking Dead. The episode where,
Is it the horse? In the beginning, like the first
No.
episode? No, okay.
Oh no! I was thinking
Spoiler
of,
alert.
I was thinking the episode where Rick bites out somebody's neck. He like rips out their neck, and they use like raw chicken. So he gets like this big mouthful of raw chicken. It's really nasty, but it was done very well. It looked really cool.
Why would
And
they
I'm just-
use chicken. Why raw chicken? Raw anything else? Raw.
I don't know
Yeah.
because I just remember
Salmonella.
almost gagging. Thinking,
if you slice it thin enough, it has a very, very similar skin look to it. You could blend it in really well with makeup.
oh, okay, that's good to know.
There's her.
I'm
And
just still sitting here like,
There's
no,
her inspo.
no raw chicken.
Yeah,
No.
with processing these days, salmonella, the chance of getting it from just doing one take on a TV set, it's you wouldn't get it. You'd be fine.
So, what has been the most fascinating use of food in horror specifically, or in movies in general? Whether it be a prop or whether it be, because I know we've talked about food and horror before, and we talked about like Freddy Krueger's pizza, and
Yes.
so what has been the most interesting use of food in? Let's go ahead and just say in horror.
I think the proper usage of props, using the food as props, has been. It takes so much. Like you just can't look at something and go, "Oh, that's going to work." Romero made it work just because he was desperate. but the guys who did like The Exorcist, and everybody knows that was split pea soup. The problem was they went through like 8 different brands of split pea soup to get the right consistency. So that means they had to build the machine to propel it out. When it didn't work, they had to clean it, reset it. So they were trying all this different soup and screen testing it and stuff like that. So Campbell's actually lost. Their soup was too thick for it. So if random trivia, because it may come up at a trivia night one night, Anderson soup is what was used. Anderson split pea soup is what they used in
I
Exorcist.
don't even think I know what Anderson
I was about to
soup
say, I'm gonna
is.
have to
Yeah,
order
I've never
that
even
online
seen
now.
that. Yeah.
If you're talking
We're
though,
gonna
the
find
most
it now.
We sure are.
if you're talking the most iconic use of food in it, it has to be in Psycho. With using the chocolate syrup as blood in the shower scene.
Yeah.
I mean, Hitchcock basically almost started a whole revolution of, hey, this could be done like this on the cheap. I mean, it's back then I think it was like 50 cents or something like that for a huge bottle of it. They could do it in 4 or 5 takes, still be fine with it and stuff. So I think he started a whole revolution of like, yeah, we could possibly use food to substitute things. And so if you're wondering, Hershey syrup was used in Psycho. In Night of the Living Dead, it was Bosco chocolate syrup was used for blood.
I was watching something recently on probably on Hulu, and it was no, it was Netflix. It was The Movies That Made Us.
Oh, yeah.
And the one that they were talking about, Tom Savini, who is FX artist, was talking about the creation and use of fake blood, and they were like sharing the recipe, and it was food coloring, Caro syrup, and I think Hershey syrup to kind of give it that texture. They're just so it's interesting that we find food to be so useful in horror, because especially when you start taking in consideration that most of the food props that you see on film that actually are supposed to be food or in photographs a lot of times are not. What, in your opinion, what is the most obvious trick that's used to make foods look appetizing as a prop?
God, I mean, it all depends how you want to look at it. If you're looking at like just a piece of meat on a tray, they're not going to cook it as much, or they just make it out of like foam rubber. But if you're talking about like actual like blood splatter or organs or anything like that, using food like that it's you have to go through so much to find the right food, and you go, yeah, it's kind of simple. Like, oh, spaghetti would work for there, but it really, it doesn't. So I think it's just it's not the final what you see on screen, it's how they got there. I think is the most magical part of that whole thing. It's just wonderful what they can come up with. Tom Savini, that actually that blood recipe was passed around my film school. I mean, all the time. Like, it was almost posted on every bulletin board. Like, here's how to make fake blood according to Tom Savini, and so like everybody knows that recipe.
Nice. I'm over here giggling because we keep talking about the foods in horror and which brands and now I'm sitting here like, we're gonna have the strangest potluck. Someone is gonna walk up with a big thing of split pea soup. Someone else is gonna bring in a bunch of turkey pot pies, and it's all gonna be from different
Turkey
episodes.
pot pies. We keep bringing that crap.
It's
up.
never
Like,
gonna
oh my
die.
God.
I guess it did,
Okay.
but it's never gonna get old.
Oh,
Turkey
It's
pot
actually
pie.
appropriate for this
there.
time of year when you have leftover turkey and what do
Yes.
people do with it. Then you can make a pot pie. But if it's
Okay.
not Thanksgiving time, I don't understand why you would have turkey pot pie anywhere.
So we did an episode recently in which we were discussing cults, and one of the questions that came up, and it was specifically, we were talking about Heaven's Gate,
Mhm.
and specifically discussing what their last meal was. And it was, they went to, what was it, like a
A
Luby's-
buffet.
It was like a
Yeah.
Luby's delicatessen, like buffet, and ordered, everybody had the turkey pot pie. And
At the buffet, mind
At a
you, where
buffet.
you have all the choices, but
You
they
literally
all
have your
wanted the
world in
same
front of you.
meal.
Wow.
yeah. So your last meal is turkey pot pie. And
Oh.
and then of course, yeah.
And then you wash it down with some Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flavor Aid.
Yeah.
Flavor
Oh,
Aid.
it was
Flavor Aid.
Oh, okay. They didn't even
Yeah.
spring for the good stuff.
Now, Flavor Aid was what was used in Jonestown. We're a
Jonestown,
wealth
yeah.
we're a wealth of like really.
Oh, okay,
world.
because Kool-Aid is king up here.
Yes, it is. Kool-Aid
Yeah.
is king here too. So yeah, Flavor
Oh,
Aid's
okay.
cheap. Yeah, that's the cheap stuff.
Oh
Nobody
yeah,
does.
that's like
Mhm.
the dollar store, the nickel and dime store.
Yeah, 20 packs for a
knockoff.
buck, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Oh no, I
potluck
have
coming soon.
I have pie pastry in my refrigerator, and I'm wanting to make a pot pie. Gonna make a turkey pot pie just for you, Kat.
Oh no. I will forego the turkey pot pie thanks. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
When you're making the turkey pot pie, if you actually save the turkey skin from the full size turkey, just lay it over the top of the pot pie. Let it cook like that. It'll give like a creepy skin effect on the top.
Hmm.
Ooh, okay. So now you do some creepy like foods and stuff for Halloween,
Mhm.
and and you have a recipe that you're wanting to share with us.
Oh yeah. It's my my bat wings, which is
Okay.
it's a very common recipe. It's been all over the world. I mean, everybody you can pull it up on the internet nowadays. But it's what you put into it that makes it special. And so, do you want me to run through it for you?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
ask the cabana boy upstairs if we have a photo. I know we do somewhere, but if he could find.
Yep, they're there.
Mm.
I am so sorry for that quality of picture.
That's okay.
Like I told you, I'm one of those guys that like, all right, we're cooking this, we're gonna lay it out, we're gonna present it for this catering party. Make sure to get pictures. And I tell myself that 20 times. And then the end of the night comes and it's just dirty plates, and I'm like, I didn't get no pictures.
That's
And
me when
No.
yeah.
next time I'm gonna get pictures. And next time comes around, no pictures.
I feel like
So-
that's me every time I put on makeup. I need to take pictures with this makeup.
No. Okay, so what is in? We're gonna pop that picture up there so you can kind of tell us a little bit about it and what goes into it. And
Okay, so the bat wings are basically chicken wings. You take 4 pounds of chicken wings. You and I like to brine them. Not a lot of people do. Brining them is putting them in a heavy salt solution for a couple days. It gets them all nice and moist. But I'll only do it for like 6 hours because I don't want it to be full of that moisture. I want it to kind of take in the flavorings I'm about to put into it. So I'll brine them for like 6 hours, take them out, pat them dry. Then I'll mix in 2 cups of dark brown sugar, 1 cup of less sodium soy sauce, 1 cup of teriyaki sauce. Now from here, you could actually adjust it. You have another cup to play with. I like to do my own barbecue sauce in it. That might be biased, but you could use any kind of barbecue sauce you want. So it's 2 cups dark brown sugar, 1 cup soy sauce, 1 cup teriyaki sauce, and 1 cup barbecue sauce. The key element to it is a couple drops of pure black food coloring. Those chicken wings suck that color up. You just you throw them in a bag, mush them around a little bit, throw them in the fridge overnight. Next day, dump them in a sheet pan and cook them away.
Ooh.
They will, as they cook, they'll just blacken up real deep.
So let me
And-
ask. I
Sure.
am sensitive to black food coloring. Like I can taste it anytime anyone does anything. So you just said just a couple drops for all of those. Can you taste the dye in the
No,
chicken wings?
not at all. Because if you're using high quality ingredients, like or like not, you're not. I don't want to throw any companies under the bus and say their stuff is crap. But if like, if,
go ahead, we're good.
Yeah,
okay,
it's fine.
We're not getting
if you,
sponsored.
yeah, if you're using like, okay, if your teriyaki sauce costs $1.50, it's probably not going to be that thick. It's not going to be that rich. So
Mhm.
by using quality ingredients, the soy sauce is naturally really black. The teriyaki, if you get a good one, it's more on the black side than the brown side.
Mhm.
The dark brown sugar, if you use light brown sugar, it's going to become lighter. So that's why you got to use dark brown sugar. Plus, dark brown sugar has that molasses content in it, so it gives it that rich flavor throughout. After that point, if you need more than 2 or 3 drops of that black food coloring, you won't need more than 2 or 3. I promise you. So I never taste it. Also, are you talking like just the cheap egg food coloring, like that you buy at the grocery store?
Like, I've had wedding cakes, like professionally done wedding cakes, where they're wannabe goth do the black frosting thing, which I did want originally, but then I tasted it and I was like, no, never mind. I was
Okay.
wrong.
Now keep in mind, to do you're taking something that's naturally white and you're turning it black. You need a lot of food coloring to do that. A lot of food coloring. We're talking bottles of food coloring to do that. So you're only requiring 2 or 3, and that's just to bring that dark color just to tip it over that point.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
No.
So and then you just 350-degree oven for about an hour.
And you're going to send us this recipe so we can share it with our.
Yes.
With our,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
there any,
I will type it up for you.
Is there any flipping or basting halfway through?
No, nothing. Because most chicken wings are they kind of sit like that, so they naturally have that airflow going underneath them.
Perfect.
So
you
don't need to flip them. It'll keep the skin will get nice and crispy. Don't take the skin off. When you do it, make sure you get the skin on. Make sure you get the 3-piece wings, not the split wings or anything like that.
You want
So and yeah, they are wonderful. And what's nice, like I said, is you could adjust the flavor. If you like it hotter, throw some cayenne pepper in there in the marinade. If I've coated them with ground up fiery Cheetos before and baked them. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a completely customizable. This is like a base. You can go nuts with it from there.
And
So
I'm
wait.
already thinking of it.
So we're always looking for ways to actually take traditional foods and make them a bit more goth. I think most of the ladies that are part of this crew love to cook, and one of the things that I have kind of read about and I'm very interested to try with things like chocolate cake and turning it like just black using charcoal.
No. There's actually no charcoal. You could use charcoal to make it black. That is a old school technique.
Okay.
They make a and you can get it on Amazon. They make a rich black Dutch cocoa.
Ooh.
It is, you open it up and it is like looking into the void, and that will turn your cakes pure black.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
it's only like $10 for like a 8-ounce bag.
Oh,
So
okay.
and you don't need a lot of it. It's like 1 cup to do that.
All right.
And remember, ladies, too much charcoal can counteract your birth control. Just a little PSA for you there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, charcoal was the standby. That was the old baker's ways to do it. I can't remember when they released that rich black Dutch chocolate, but ever since it's been out, that's what I make my black Halloween cakes with.
That's interesting because I've actually seen recipes is like current recipes, like people that are posting like how to make the dark black chocolate cakes and stuff like that, and they're referencing charcoal. But I'm just and I have charcoal powder, like food grade charcoal powder. I've never used it, and I didn't.
Yeah, it could really throw off flavors. It is a neutral, but if you use enough of it, you'll start tasting it. So it does add a little bit of grittiness sometimes if you don't process it properly and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, like I said, Amazon, just look up rich black Dutch cocoa powder.
Okay, so I also have am I stepping on anybody's toes? Do you have questions, Lauren?
I did, but go for it.
Oh, go ahead. No, please go. You go. Go.
I was just wondering if anyone did any movie watching for this episode, because I did sit down with the family and watch a terrible movie. In preparation, because we were talking about killer foods, and so I watched The Ginger Dead Man.
That movie, lovely. That movie is amazing.
In a way, yes, it
is. Gary Busey in that, that movie. My God, they made his teeth look like Gary Busey. They knew what they were doing. Yeah. They knew what they were doing. Gary was completely on board. I was like, I'm all for it. I haven't seen that movie in a bunch of years, but I remember watching it and just with glee. I loved it.
I told my husband part way through, I was like, so I really feel like they just sat Gary down in a booth, didn't even give him a script, and they're just yell stuff at the thing. And he was just like, all right. And they wrote the script around that. That is what I feel like they did with this movie, because it was so detached from what he was screaming at the people, and they're all like, ah! But in the most happily B horror movie way. It was obviously not supposed to be taken seriously.
No.
Down to the puppet that they were using and the lines that the people had, obviously not supposed to be a serious horror film. So lots of laughing throughout. As Joey the Roadie just said a second ago, if you could pull that
There's
back
been
up.
like a lot of comments on this
Yeah.
already.
The movie was a train wreck in slow motion. We could not look away.
No.
Yeah,
At one point, about 20 minutes to the end, I was like, I can't. All right, I'm stopping, and my husband was just like, well, we're almost 20 minutes on.
Yeah.
We gotta finish it now. And we did.
Yeah, it's what the poster that you guys threw up there. It doesn't even show, like, I think that poster was made before, because like they redid his teeth for that movie.
Yeah.
The ginger dead man's teeth. Like that poster was made before the final creation design of that character, because the teeth in that movie are just, I mean, they match Gary Busey's perfectly, but yeah, they should have redid that movie poster just to capture it better.
Anyway,
So-
I was wondering if anyone else did any movie watching or.
I didn't do any movie watching this week, but I mean, honestly, I mean, I grew.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, I grew up in an era where you Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was, you know, I mean, worst movie. Isn't that the worst movie ever made, or is that Plan 9 from outer space?
I would say Plan 9 is a lot worse.
Okay.
Killer Tomato, Plan 9 was made with almost a he was serious about it, and it just turned out to be a horribly awesome movie.
Yeah.
Killer Tomatoes was made knowing they're going to be. It's Killer Tomatoes is like the new Sharknado. Like they knew they were making a bad movie, but they just went and had fun with it.
Yeah, the intentions was to 100% make a bad movie. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's, you know, but it has survived what, 3 decades now, and people still watch it and love it. They still have matinees of it on, you know, at some theaters and stuff like that. That shows like, hey, we enjoyed making this. It was an utter piece of crap, but hey, this is what we give you, and people love it.
And
But-
there actually was a sequel, or two possibly. I know Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and then there was it Revenge of the, or Return of the Killer Tomatoes? Maybe Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh
Yeah,
and
that is true. They did have their own cartoon series. I remember watching it as a kid.
Eli Cash just commented that Killer Tomatoes did have a cartoon series. I remember that. I do. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how they could possibly take that and turn it into a cartoon series, but they did. I think it lasted 2 seasons. But yeah, I remember watching it as a kid. You know, and when you have a movie like there's one from Japan. It's called Deadly Sushi. I've just given you the whole plot. It's Deadly Sushi. It is sushi that comes to life and kills the people eating the sushi.
Oh
That's
my
all-
gosh.
It's literally the whole movie. That's the whole movie. It's
Okay.
90 minutes of sushi killing people trying to eat it.
I
So
think Keisha just commented that she's making a list of all of the bad movies that she's going to watch. So that's one to add.
oh yeah.
Now, there is one that is out of, I want to say it's a Japanese horror movie, and it's called Dumpling. And, but that one is not, it is, yeah, that one is a bit more gruesome and not as campy. Because
Mhm.
I love,
Yep, there it is. Dead Sushi.
okay. That's, yes. And of course, you know, when you're talking about those iconic films, you cannot not mention Soylent Green.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
By the way, I'm so amused by the fact that there is a drink called Soylent.
Oh yeah. I don't know if that was intentional or not. And if it was intentional, that was the greatest marketing ploy ever, because everybody's going to talk about it and everyone's going to be like, I want to try it. I'll try it.
It's people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
people. And then of course there was one, I think it was from the 80s, called The Stuff. That,
The stuff. Yes.
and it was like starts oozing out of their
I
eyes
love
and
that
nose
one
and-
because it rings true about like modern times. And I'm sorry, I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands a lot. So
That's
sorry
right.
about that. It rings true. It's like you have all these corporations, especially with like prescription drugs. They're like, oh yeah, here it can cure that, but it's going to cause this, 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 this. In that movie, they were literally warning the people like, this is filled with bad stuff, and people kept eating it, and then they became the stuffed zombies. So it's like that one. It just rings true to this day. That one's a campy one. It's like it's not scary at all, but yeah, it's like kind of marshmallow fluff kind of dessert thing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a hard watch, but knowing what I know now, and then going back and remembering that movie, I'm like, they were actually pretty spot on about a lot of predictions.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Because I do remember. I think that one. No, it was Soylent Green that was set in. Keisha actually drinks Soylent, and she
There
says
you go.
it's delicious. But it was Soylent Green was set in 2022, which I thought was
Mhm.
kind of interesting. So
Yeah,
um,
this is the year of Soylent.
this is the year of Soylent, and
Yep.
Keisha's drinking it. So Keisha, just know you're drinking people. Um,
Tastes like chicken.
so tastes like frog legs.
It's like rattlesnake.
We're
Okay,
gonna
so
have
we
so
have a
many
little
foods.
ticker.
We're gonna have to try now too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, I know. So I have the little ticker going off at the bottom, which is an indicator that we are at the top of our hour.
Fast.
So if I know it always
Yeah,
goes
it's
so fast.
going by fast.
So I do have a couple of additional questions, and if anybody else does, please jump in. Anybody? So when you see chefs represented in movies, do you ever look at the trope and you're just like, ooh, it's like that's so wrong. I don't like that. I mean, what do you because I know we all do that when we see our line of work represented in media, we're always like, oh no, that never happens like that. That's not right. Do you do the same thing?
Normally, yes. I think a lot of people get what the kitchen life is wrong. Like a lot what goes on back there is wrong, represented in the media. You know, they have these shows like where people are friendly back there. That is never the case. The best representation of what the kitchen life is, Netflix, I think it was Netflix, just released The Bear. It's the chef, the guy who was who in Shameless, the oldest son in Shameless. He plays the head chef. That movie nails what it's like to actually work in a kitchen. Like I was watching, I was like, I'm twitching, I'm having flashbacks. Um, so that's the closest they've ever got. Other than that, no, it's everyone has their own interpretation of what goes on in the kitchen, and if you've never been back there, you'll never get it right.
And then the other one that I have you ever seen obviously fake food in a movie and thought I can do that better?
What do you mean by fake food?
Just like anything, like whether it is, somebody like something that's set out on a table or
It's
something that
supposed to look real.
It's supposed to look
Okay.
real.
You know what? No, because I actually like to get a lot of my ideas from that. So I'm like, I'll see something, I'm like, I could do that, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to make it better than what that was. And that was the original idea behind the At Home with Chef Tony video series I started doing, was to start doing that, go from cartoons to eventually into movies, but I never got around to it. So, no, I always look at something, I'm like, I'll store it away for later and be like, I could probably make that a little bit better.
Joey the Roadie says waiting got it pretty close for what it's like to work in a kitchen.
Okay, the hijinks that goes on there, yes, that is 100% true. The bat wing, which, oh my god, I just gave you guys a recipe for that. I'm out.
If you remember the bat wing from Waiting, you will get that joke.
Okay, and then I guess finally, oh no, go ahead. You're about to say something. Please do.
No, I'm just trying to swallow my laughter here.
And then my other thing is, are there any celebrity chefs out there that you admire?
Okay, I get a lot of flack for this. I love Guy Fieri. I love him because he is the nicest guy. People rag on him. Oh, he's frosted tips. He wears his sunglasses in the back of his head, the flame shirt. The guy is the nicest guy. Like if you're in his circle and he knows you and you're like, hey, I want to try to do this, he will set you up and make it happen. He will get you that restaurant to watch you succeed. But the other chef, Alton Brown. Alton Brown got me to love the science of cooking. That opened up my world tenfold. And now I actually bring a lot of that science into what I do every day now. Those two guys, yeah. I'll defend Fieri all day long.
Actually, he's been through Memphis several times, and knowing one of the restaurants that he stopped in, it was a friend of mine, and he was just talking so wonderfully about him and his interaction with he had a employee who had a disability and learning disability, and he said that he was just so patient and nice with him, and his interaction with him was just so, as you said, just sweet, just a sweet guy. And just the story that he told about this particular incident, I'm like, he might look like a douche, but he sounds super nice. So I'm like, I'm just gonna have to like him. So I have to.
People treat him like he's Nickelback, and it's like, that's not fair. Like, the guy is actually a good guy.
Yeah.
Random
You guys
fun
aren't sponsored
story.
by Nickelback, are you?
No.
No. Never.
Random
I don't care how
fun
much
Alton,
money.
Random fun Alton Brown story. I used to be in a band, and our guitarist was a huge fan of Alton Brown, would go see Alton Brown live anytime they were coming near. Now, Alton Brown is also a huge fan of a local donut shop here in Memphis called Gibson's Donuts. Anytime he is in, he stops and he will rave about this donut shop. So my guitarist made a habit of going to pick up a dozen of just glazed, which was apparently Alton Brown's favorite, glazed donuts anytime we went to go see him, and bring him the glazed Gibson's donuts.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
he ended up backstage. Alton Brown was like, "Yeah, come on, meet me backstage one time." And we randomly, our band got like a shout out by Alton Brown because the guitarist brought him Gibson's donuts. It
Oh,
was a
that's
whole
so
thing.
cool. That's so cool.
That's like my one Alton Brown story that's not even mine. It's like someone I know's story.
Oh, I love Alton. I love Alton Brown. I mean, he's an amazing. He's not only just an amazing cook, and you said with the science of it, but he also is very entertaining. I have a, well, actually, she's not so young anymore, but when my youngest child, was very small, she would get the option. It's like, you can either watch SpongeBob or we can watch Alton Brown. And she would pick Alton Brown every time. She was that fascinated by him and loved the show that much. So I'm being told that we do have to kind of wrap it up. We are at that point. So Miles out right here says, I miss Memphis food. Sad man in Lexington. I think I know who that is. Mr. Fish.
Memphis food is amazing.
You know what?
Amazing.
He's brought us some items from Lexington too, and they've got some pretty awesome stuff. As a matter of fact, I think that my glass is from one of the breweries in Ethereal Brewing. I do believe that is from one of his favorite
I see
spots.
Bill Nye, the science guy of food. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Like that's probably what your youngest was thinking. Like, oh, it's probably like watching Bill Nye, the science guy.
It is, but a lot more fun in my opinion. So I mean, I like to eat.
Chef Tony, can you tell everyone where they can find you if they want to come stalk you from our show?
After the bat wings, I don't know if they're going to want to, but you can find me Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Facebook, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Bike Club Noms. That's Bike Club NOMS. My website is bikeclubnoms.com. And you're going to see a lot of new stuff coming up in 2023. We're going to open up a bakehouse. We're going to be bringing donuts, breads, things like that, treats to the world. So yeah, we have a lot.
Very good.
Well, there's a food truck in our very near future.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That sounds awesome. And guys, I hate to cut this off because this has been a fun show. It's been very entertaining. And I think we've actually learned things. We know how to make bat wings now.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I'll get you guys the actual recipe as soon as we quit here.
Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. And guys, with that said, pleasant screams. Bye.
That's all.